There are many misconceptions when it comes to PC gaming. One of the biggest reasons many don't want to get a PC is because you have to be hunched over a desk with a mouse and keyboard staring at a small screen. Today, I'll be showing you how you could get the relaxed console experience, but with the power and flexibility of a PC. Let's quickly run over the parts we're going to be using. Starting with the computer case, this is the Fractal Design No 202 with the 450 watt power supply. This is one of the smallest computer cases with extremely clean aesthetics. If you want more in-depth information on the case, just click right there for the review. The motherboard is the Gigabyte H170 in a mini ITX form factor. It's a bit lacking in terms of USB ports, but with the built-in Wi-Fi and Bluetooth, it's hard to beat for the price. Gives you the standard features such as USB 3 and a PCIe x16 slot, but there's also an M.2 slot on the back of the board, something that not even the highest ends of mini ITX boards offer. It also features the USB 3.1 Type-C connector, so it's a little more future-proof. For the CPU, I went with the Intel Core i3-6100 clocked at 3.7 GHz. It is a lock processor, but I wasn't going to overclock anyway due to how small the case is and how restricted the heat would be. It also has 2 cores and 4 processing threads to avoid any dual core issues in games like Far Cry 4, which won't even start without at least 4 threads. The performance of this thing is great, especially considering the price of it. Now onto my favorite part and what makes this better than the consoles, the GPU. We have an EVGA GTX 960 with 4GB of VRAM. I chose it mainly for the low power consumption to go along with that 450 watt power supply. Though if you're planning on using something like a GTX 970 or greater, I'd really recommend getting the 600 watt SFX power supply from Silverstone. For the memory, I got 8GB of Kingston's HyperX Savage DDR4 RAM at 2400 MHz. Honestly, I just chose these because I had them on hand, but the price is also pretty low. Though if you look around, I'm sure you'll find something cheaper. I also had this SanDisk 120GB SSD on hand, though I really recommend spending a little more to get the 240GB version. Storage is expandable, so you can add another terabyte hard drive in the future if you really need it. Total cost of this build is $643. Keep in mind that this does not include the cost of Windows. Though if you don't already have a license for Windows, you can easily get a copy of Windows 10 Pro for only $20 at kingwin.com, bringing the price up to $663. Now onto how you can actually use this as you normally would with an Xbox or PS4. Plug in the power cord and hook up the HDMI cable from the GPU to your TV. Make sure you do not use the HDMI from the motherboard. Get a wireless keyboard with a trackpad to navigate through Windows and set things up. Then get an Xbox One wireless controller and the Xbox One wireless adapter and plug it into a USB port. Once that's done, use the mouse and keyboard to launch a game, then you could just pick up your Xbox One controller and start playing from the couch. Also, if you don't want to use a keyboard every single time to launch a game, you can set your computer to go into Steam Big Picture mode as soon as you boot it up. It's an interface from Steam that's designed to be navigated with a controller and it works really well. Now to the most important part, how it actually performs in games. But before we get into the benchmarks, I'd like to note that the GPU was overclocked and Nvidia Shadowplay was used to record this game footage. So my numbers may be around 2 to 3 frames lower than the actual performance. With GTA 5 on high to very high settings, we get a minimum of 46.5 FPS, most importantly an average of 59.7 and a maximum of 63.6. In Rise of the Tomb Raider, which has to be one of the best looking games this year, on high settings we got a minimum of 32.2 FPS, an average of 53.5, and a maximum of 68.2.
If I burn, you burn!
Lastly, with Far Cry Primal on high settings, we got a minimum of 48 FPS, an average of 56, and a maximum of 64. I chose these specific games since all of them are locked at 30 FPS on their console versions. And with the PC nearly doubling the performance in each game, it really shows off the power of this machine. Not to mention that all of these games run at 1080p Full HD on this PC, something not all console games can achieve. As for temperatures, the GTX 960 stayed around 76 degrees Celsius at full load even while overclocked. Its idle temperature was around 60 degrees though, but keep in mind that this card is designed to not use its fan when the computer isn't doing much, to keep it as quiet as possible. The CPU also stayed at around 42 degrees Celsius at idle and around 63 degrees while under full load. There are so many more benefits I'd like to touch on, like emulators and customizability, but this video would just end up being way too long. So that's pretty much it, I guess. That's how you could sit back and get the relaxed console experience with a controller, a huge TV, relaxing on your couch, all with the power of a PC. Well, hope you guys enjoyed this little build log / tutorial. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Also leave a comment below to share your thoughts because I try to respond most of the time. Thank you guys for watching. This is Phantom Tech and I'll see you in my next video.